All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. So what I want to call today's title is Stop Recreating What You're Fleeing. I know this is a crazy title, right? But I think a lot of us, especially when it comes to relationships, has a problem, if they don't work out is what I should say, when they're having problems in their relationships, is going from one relationship to another. And a lot of times what they're wanting to get away from in a relationship, they start recreating it in another. And, I think I've even been part of this in my past as well. And not only with relationships, I just think sometimes in life, we find ourselves in situations where we don't like being in that position and we want to get as far away from it as possible. And we do. We get far away from it, but then we find ourselves in another situation that's pretty similar to the one we left. And then we want to kind of escape from that situation, and you find yourself in another situation. You got to sometimes realize that, the other person or what's going on may not be the problem. It's probably you a lot of times. And I know at first it's really hard to think of it that way. But I know with relationships a lot of times, and I have this program, Mastering Self-Confidence, and I try to help dudes with women and relationships and all these things. And the one thing I try to always teach them is be self-aware of their actions. Because a lot of people, we throw people into kind of categories, especially, say, women. And women may throw men and vice versa, whatever. But a lot of times, you talk to guys, they'll be like, man, no, all women are the same. Or every relationship, it ends the same way. Or every time in a relationship, it goes this way. A lot of times it's going that way because you're the one steering it that way. You don't know how to change to a certain degree. You want a different environment. You may want a different relationship, but you don't know how to get one. Or you don't know how to even behave in one. And that can go for a lot of things in life, not only relationships. It could be jobs. I see that a lot with people working. A lot of times they hate one job. They go to another, I hate this job. Go to another one, or the people treated me this way at this place of work. And then I went over here, and now they're treating me the same way. And now I'm going over, I got to leave there, and I'm hopefully going to find another place. Again, most likely, you're part of the problem. I'm not saying you may be entirely the problem. Your behavior sometimes may truthfully suck. It may not be the case too. You may just have had a bad run, say, with some people. Don't get me wrong, relationships, a lot of times there's a lot of great people. I just don't have luck. But I do believe a lot of times people, though, I'm not saying you always create. You can't always be, no matter how hard you try is what I should say. You can't control other people in relationships, in workplaces, or in any situation to a certain degree. You can only really control yourself, okay? But again, back to wanting to flee. I'm going to do a podcast where people, I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but a lot of people I know want to change or want changes, but are never wanting to do anything new. I see this so much, and I am one of these people. Sometimes I've got to break out of that, and slowly but surely I am. Especially when it comes to eating habits or going to different restaurants and things, or just going to different places in general. I just had to really be a lot more open-minded. Now I'm 51 years old. How long did this take me? Now, when I traveled, I was very, for my life, if I wasn't at home, I should say, when I traveled or doing something out, I love experimenting. But I should say it needed to be in my comfort zone. So yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll try. I could be in anywhere. I don't care if I'm in South Dakota. I don't care if I'm in Canada. I don't care, or Toronto. I don't care if I'm in California, Florida. I'd be like, yeah, I want to experiment new Italian foods, and I want to go, try out new coffee houses or try different gyms. Again, I wasn't willing to say a lot of times, hey, let me go try, Asian tonight. Let me go try, I'll always do a steak place, but, something I wouldn't normally try, which, I know what I like, but I did find myself a lot of times going to a lot of different cities and areas that I should have experimented more. I kind of, I remember a guy, and I put it on a YouTube video. I forgot what part of Canada I was in. Might have been Calgary, I'm not sure. Went to a steak place. I did a video on it. And then I said something, it's a big city, and I'm like, oh, this place really doesn't have a lot of great food, or some stupid shit. And the guy said, what do you mean? And he commented, and he was absolutely like, what do you mean this place doesn't have great food? There's so many different style restaurants. I really only was going to Italian restaurants, and even the Italian food wasn't that bad. I was just kind of being a dick, truthfully. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in a major city. You know how many? There's thousands of restaurants probably in this area. I keep going to the same ones near the same hotel that I usually stay in, or the same mall, whatever the case may be in it, and I'm complaining about it, right? It doesn't make sense. It's kind of bullshitty. And I think in our life where we live or what we do, we kind of do the same thing again. We want changes. We don't want to be in certain environments anymore, but we just don't know how to change. And we've heard that a million times. But I just want to do a podcast on this because I really do believe a lot of us want to flee. And I don't mean in relationships, marriage, your boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not telling you to go flee. You're going to have good times and bad times. I don't give a shit who you're with. I got a news flash for you. A lot of times, it may be time to leave. Other times, you may leave and regret it. So that's just life. No one lives in hindsight. But I will say, if you, again, find yourself kind of being miserable, no matter what situation you're in, but you have opportunities, or you've left those situations, and again, you keep finding yourself in another miserable situation, or even worse, and then it gets worse. You're either not learning from your past, or again, you keep recreating the same thing or the same environment. And I really don't feel sorry for a lot of those people to a certain degree now. I want to help people as much as I can, but people got to understand, you got to help yourself. And we have a lot of bad habits, and we do a lot of the same shit over and over again, expecting somebody else to kind of maybe accept our rules, but handle things differently, if that makes sense. But a lot of times they handled it the same way previous people handled it, which just may be something that pisses you off constantly. But the truth is, they don't have to put up with your shit the same way they don't have to put up with yours. Did I say that correctly? I hope so. So just really pay attention to that if you could. So I am going to actually wrap it up there. I think I just wanted to I thought about this last night when I was in bed. I'm like, my God, I think I was watching TV or a YouTube video, and I just saw these different YouTube videos a lot of times, and it could be the news, it could be different things, and everybody complaining about whatever it is. It could be political stuff. It could just be a lot of complaints over and over again, but no one's really making changes to make things better. I think a lot of them just want to make things worse so they can complain even more. And I'm like, what kind of fucking world are we living in that it's like that? And I do think sometimes when you're in relationships or your work or your whatever you're doing, instead of really trying to make changes for the better, you almost fall into a trap and say, no, I want to make this as miserable as possible. And a lot of times you're not making things miserable for others, you're making it for yourself, but you think you're proving a point. And I just don't understand that philosophy. If you're miserable, start making changes. I'm just telling you. And don't wait to the point where you hate everything or you can hurt yourself or others. Just have the balls to say, you know what? It's time to make changes. But the changes got to start with you, for starters. Don't get caught up in you're not going to change most likely other people a lot of times. So again, back to you. If you start changing and you start understanding what you truly want, and if you want to make changes, and you show that you're making those changes, it's going to be a whole different kind of outlook for you. You just got to become self-aware, and the truth is most people aren't self-aware. They just kind of live their life doing the same shit over and over again, and either complaining about it or being in misery, or some people love their life too, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying if you are one of those people that just is always caught, being unhappy, let's try to figure out how to get you to the point where you are starting to feel happy and you like your environment instead of despise it. All right, that's all I got for that one. All right, if you get a chance, check out my YouTube page. I've been putting up a lot of different things. Today I put up actually my favorite, I guess you could say trainer online, YouTube, and he's awesome. What else do I got? I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And my program is Mastering Self-Confidence. You could check me out on bridgetolenza.com. All right? Take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.